welcome to episode 212 of the KBMOD podcast. It is November 1st, 2015. Wow, guys.
Can you believe we're in the last 2 months of the year?
I actually really can't. And I know that it used to be the gag that I was surprised at what number of casts we were on, but I'm definitely surprised that we are almost done with 2015. It's actually a little bit scary.
I've thought about mentioning this before, but whenever you say the episode, you emphasize 200. You're like 200.
I do. You're right. I do that.
It's almost like you're more surprised at the fact that we're still in the 200 range than like the actual number that we're on.
I think that's right. I think I am pretty shocked that we ever made it to 200 whatever. So anything after this is basically like, we're playing with house money kind of thing. You know what I mean? So
I could see that.
I think
you're just impressed that we made it to that point, and you want to emphasize that we're like, no, this actually is 200 and 12.
Like exactly. We've done 200 plus of these. Like, believe it, people, for real. Yeah. So we've got Ro on the cast this week. Ro, what's up?
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being here. And of course we have I don't say of course, but KDZen has been on quite a bit lately, and you may be around here.
I actually thought about
often
doing the poll to start off the cast of which member you'd like to see as a regular who's on tonight, but I didn't want to embarrass KDZen with the results.
Yeah. No. I think that's probably safer.
Yeah, that's a good choice on your part.
So I chose to embarrass KDZen regardless of outcome, which, as it turns out, was probably the way to go.
Yeah, but
it turned out well.
Yeah, and of course Brandon, the lovely person who without complaining resizes the Skype window every time or makes it match so that he can host this for you listening. I know that doesn't really do anything for you guys, but for the viewing audience, it's nice and clean and in the boxes.
Yeah,
and
if you as an audio listener are interested in converting to a live viewer,
yes.
Just know that we take painstaking effort to get the Skype window sized.
The highest production, you're not going to see production like this anywhere else on Twitch. So
no,
definitely,
absolutely not. I have a very complex setup here.
You started at 6 p.m., correct? And you've been working on it. It's 11:40 right now.
Yeah. It's been a while. Each week is a new challenge.
If you just look at Brandon's lighting, you're telling me that didn't take 4 or 5 hours to set up. Like, look how perfectly illuminated he is without any kind of glare. Like that takes a lot of work. So, but it is good to be on episode 212. We should talk about anything exciting that happened to us this week. Possibly can be outside of gaming. Last week, Brandon offered up he had been to a nice concert, saw some Slipknot, some Manson. But KD, I'll start with you, man. Anything fun?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Honestly.
Listen,
I'm not really helping my case
you're,
of being taken.
You're holding back from the viewers. You told us about an annotated bibliography that you had to do this week.
Well, got something very exciting going on. Now, and I know what you're thinking. When I'm going to say this, it's instantly going to take you to the subscribe button. And you're not wrong. I am working on an annotated bibliography. Now, I know. It's shocking. It's going well. I think it's going to be it's going to be a fine product. It's been taking up all my life.
What state are you in again?
Alaska.
No, you're in Michigan.
No, not Alaska. I'm in Indiana.
Indiana, that's what it is.
I don't know why I thought saying Alaska would be funny.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure you're not Alaska.
No offense to our Alaskan listeners.
I'm sure we have quite a few. But yeah, I mean, I've heard of the crazy parties, those bibliography parties that go on in Indiana in those barn houses. Again, dude, the only thing I can tell you is don't snort too many sources, okay? Because you start with one source, 2 source, 3 source. Next thing you know, the entire dictionary is up there.
We like to snort corn.
Oh, okay.
That's what we do. It's healthy.
You guys have a lot of that,
and it gives you a buzz.
Yeah.
Best is when you snort it hard enough, it just pops in your nose and the juice is just.
and then you've eaten and you have popcorn. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's nutritious when you think about it.
I think we've brought this up before, but cow tipping is an actual legitimate pastime that people do, right?
I've never done it, but.
Oh, okay.
In what context are you using the word legitimate to describe cow tipping?
Someone will be like, they'll be bored and they'll look at each other and be like, you want to go tip some cows? And then they go tip some cows.
Oh,
it actually happens. That exchange happens. I just want to confirm. I should ask you too, Texas. Right? They probably you cow tips, Brandon, right in Texas?
I'm aware of the activity, like I know what it is.
I'm not
But
saying
no,
like
I've
legitimate, like
never-
it's sanctioned by an organization. I
No,
just mean,
I've never done it. Like I don't. Maybe that's a thing that they do in like rural areas, but that's definitely not like just something that's available to your general Texan youth.
okay. I'm just again, I'm always curious about the South or like the mid, like live in the middle of the country. I
Based
don't
on
know.
your viewpoints, I think you need to stay curious.
I want to move there and then engage in all these activities that I've been told exist. But like laser tag and like I imagine like the the stuff you can do in Indiana is like laser tag, arcade, and then cow tipping is also an option like listed.
It's the top three. That's what we're
Just
known
keep
for.
it safe. But okay, well if you didn't have anything, Katie, that's fine. Brandon or Ro, either of you guys have anything fun?
Trying to stay alive. I've been sick for like 2 months straight.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
I did. Oh, I did see your tweets that you weren't not feeling well today. Any better
Yeah.
tonight? A little bit better, maybe.
Yeah, a bit better. Took some
Yeah.
ibuprofen, feeling pretty good. And then,
Wow.
other than trying to stay alive, obviously we can talk about this later, but watching a lot of painting
Yes,
on Twitch.
Yes.
Fun stuff.
it is.
It's addicting.
Lots of my weekend has gone to the lovely Bob Ross. May he rest in peace. Good Lord. Yeah, we definitely will talk about that in a little bit. Brandon, I'll check with you as well. Did you have anything? You didn't offer anything, so.
No, yeah, not really. Not a whole lot this week.
Well, how was everybody's Halloween? I don't know how I like skipped that. I guess because that was obviously yesterday. Did anything crazy happen? No.
I worked on
parties?
Halloween, so unfortunately no.
Again.
But no.
You know what I'll do for this section next time, Katie? Now that I know there's probably never going to be anything, I'll just make sure to not call on you.
So
for
never.
it.
I'm not really helping my case of being voted off the cast. So by bringing absolutely nothing.
I'm kidding.
Twice
No,
in a
but your
row.
absolutely nothing actually turns into a something in a weird way.
So
It
now
identifies
in
me.
chat, KDZen is a poor man's infin. Hadn't thought about it that way.
Oh, interesting. Oh, and I did
I hate to
actually.
think how true that is.
I did get a text from Enfen who said he is bummed that he has missed the cast 3 weeks in a row, but he does have. He sent me some info when we talk about what we've been playing because he's obviously been playing Halo 5, and he would like me to share his thoughts for him.
So he wants to
So-
contribute, but he doesn't want to actually show up to the cast.
Yeah. No, he's at a-
That's
he-
rich.
It is rich, isn't it? He's at a Marshmallow show right now. Who's a kind of no one
A
knows who this
Marshmallow show?
EDM
Oh.
trap artist is. Yeah, they have
Oh.
some ideas, but anyway, he's at that show right now. So we were literally texting back and forth, and I was like,
I can't compute what you just said.
"I'm sorry." Anyway, Brandon,
We're-
he's at an electronic music show right now. That's all I was really trying to convey.
I just thought about a group of marshmallows just being displayed. In
Okay,
high
no,
fashion.
the artist is
Yeah.
called Marshmallow. But sorry, that was very confusing. But all right, well, let's talk about what we've been playing this week. I guess let's start with you, Ro. What you been gaming?
Well, recently I just beat Undertale on my stream. I enjoyed it. I hear that it's very reminiscent of Earthbound, which I've never played personally, but I guess if you like Earthbound, then give Undertale a go. I also had the pleasure of being able to play Blade and Soul as well as Black Desert Online. And since I'm like a huge MMO person, I was very happy about that.
How is Black Desert?
Black Desert is actually really fun, and it's weird coming from me because I'm very particular with my MMOs after playing WoW for so freaking long. The way that the combat is very, it's like Terra, if you've ever played Terra, so you use like your mouse to hit, obviously, but you have combos mixed with your mouse and with your keyboard that you can do, and it's really fun. It's really fun. You feel really powerful. I don't know if they just did it for the alpha, but yeah. Plus, the character creation is just insanely detailed.
I've been
Now,
hearing good
isn't
stuff.
Blade and Soul based off of an anime? Or
Yes, I think so. I don't remember if the anime is based off of Blade and Soul or if Blade and Soul, because
Oh, okay.
it's already a thing in Korea and it has been for a long time. They're just now putting it into English. So
I see.
Cool.
That any good?
How did it run on your rig and everything? Was it pretty?
oh yeah,
It's
it
an alpha,
ran
you said?
fine.
Okay.
And the Black Desert Online it's very beautiful. It's very graphically beautiful, and it ran fine on ultra settings and everything. So
Nice.
I mean, it is an alpha, so I don't know how it's gonna run when it's completely done, but I feel like you should be able to run it just fine.
Okay. Very cool. KD. I know you played stuff this week, man. What was
I
it?
played a lot of stuff. So first of all, I finally got around to playing episode 5 of Life is Strange. Did I talk about that last cast? I don't think I did.
I didn't. Did you had you
Uh,
played it at that point? I don't think you played it.
I
last
played
cast.
it the Monday, like the day after that cast.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because
Just try
you
to
had talked
be.
about it last time, right?
Try to be. I guess we tried to stay
Oh.
spoiler free last time.
Yeah, definitely spoiler free. I do think at one point we should have a Life is Strange spoiler cast, but
Okay.
that won't be now. Uh, I feel like we have.
Really making plans, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm taking this cast in a.
For someone that's going to get
Whippersnapper.
kicked off the cast.
Yeah, I'll leave my mark. I'll leave my mark. But yeah, I feel that. I feel like you and I, APL, we have two different opinions on Life is Strange.
Yeah. Hey, that
Like-
a lot of people have different opinions
Yeah.
than I do on that game.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not saying my life has been changed by it, like some people, but I
Would you
think
say
everything
your life
was.
has been made strange?
Ooh.
Let's take the words right out of my mouth. I was
Sorry,
gonna.
just
You
like that.
summed up my entire 10-minute speech about episode 5 into.
You can
That
use that
sounds-
in your video review. I'll let you.
Definitely, yeah. Now you're making
no,
plans
I
for
didn't,
my channel.
We texted about it a little bit. I actually liked a lot of the things they did at the end of the game because honestly,
Yeah.
actually, well, this will be a spoiler, so I can't say too much. But one of my whole bits the whole time throughout that game was I hated the protagonist. I hated the main character because I thought she was extremely selfish, and they explore that in the
I
last
agree.
episode, which I
think I agree.
which I gave him credit for. I just thought there was a lot of padding too, though. Like some of it was cool,
Yeah.
but I thought that like they obviously
That whole this is I'm gonna explain perfectly without spoiling, but the
Okay.
whole sequence,
Mhm.
the main sequence, which will go down, in my opinion, on like it'll top the lists of top 10 those kind of like sequences in games, in my
Okay.
opinion. It went on for a bit too long, I feel.
yeah.
But like the whole stealth section in that is
Mhm.
a bit too.
Yeah, that was more what I was talking about. Anyway, there's just spoilers.
That
but
could have been taken out.
that could have
anyways,
taken out. But, yeah, so you liked
yeah,
it
other than
overall,
that,
though. You had-
Overall, I liked the first 80% of it. The last 20%, I felt like really, really bad ending.
yeah, and also,
but anyways.
I played anyway. I felt like that was a really fun game to do with Twitch chat, and I mean, it really should have been that game should have been renamed like Life is Memes because there's so much to work with. In it.
Yeah.
There's just so much, and also like
That would also be a truer title.
it would
Yeah.
be it would be a little bit truer.
It would be.
But there's like it's weird because that game is very self-aware and there's clearly a lot of like nods and stuff the developers did. Like I don't feel
I
like that
love
game
Hot Dog
suffers.
Man.
Yeah, exactly. Like Hot Dog Man in
is the
there,
best.
like super inappropriate but hilarious, and there was some cool stuff they did. Bro, did you finish all of Did you play all the episodes? Because I know you play Life is Strange.
I did.
If you
I did.
finished it. Okay. What did you think? What did you think of the end? Did you like it?
I mean, like I agree with like the whole like without spoiling like the whole stealth
Yeah.
thing. Like a lot of that was very. It's like okay, when is this? You know.
Right.
But I mean, you guys know me. I cried.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm not shocked.
I forget what
Not
it
that you
was.
cried. I'm sure a lot of
think I-
people. I'm sure a lot of
I'm
people.
sure a lot of people, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's
I
like
think I
it's.
actually. Sorry, I think I did get choked up at a time when I think about
Okay.
it.
It wasn't like a life changing game for me either, but I did
Yeah.
enjoy it to an extent, and I did like it enough to where some things would make me cry. So
Something resonated with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt the same way. Like I didn't feel as emotionally moved as like a lot of people did at the end, but I would definitely recommend like if you haven't watched someone play through it or like it's definitely worth the money and like a lot of work like clearly went into that game. And even if we don't like it for the same reasons, it's still like I enjoyed my whole experience overall in that game. Like
Yeah.
for the most part, I never came away being like, wow, I feel like they gypped me here and there. Which anyway, with Telltale, we'll get into that when I go with what I've been playing.
Yeah. Oof.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oof.
Last thing I'll say, I feel like the
times.
beginning of episode 5 really went batshit insane, like with all the different
Yeah.
blanks. Without spoiling,
blanks.
but yeah,
With all the
blank.
different-
I
that's how
loved
you
all the
read it.
blank, omitted.
All the
Yeah.
blanks, yeah, in there.
Other than that, I've been playing some Bloodborne. I finished the second character that I have set up to right before the final boss to get ready for the DLC that's coming out, and I think it's November 25th that DLC comes out. If you've played Souls games before, it's the DLC is looking to be about the length of the Artorias of the Abyss DLC from the first game, not like Dark Souls 2, in that it's like multiple short DLCs. It's going to be one big, long bunch of stuff. So I'm excited for that. I don't think I did anything else. I think I worked on Barn Door Quest a bit.
Okay.
That game's
Yes.
now running at 720p, and I also changed up the health bars. And instead of saying HP and MP, it now says life and meme. So you have a meme bar. So
That's
While I did not play Barn Door Quest well, I guess every day is kind of Barn Door Quest for me.
yeah, you're living the game. If
That
you
was
think
a
about it.
that was a weird series of thoughts I just had to think as I said this. But I feel like I played it. Having watched your video, I felt very, very in tune
playing
with
it
what
right
you were
now.
doing there. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm playing the real version based on the real thing.
All right. Well, that's a
Yeah.
perfect segue. Continue with so you're playing the real life Barn Door Quest, but what else did you play this weekend?
So I mean, the problem is we don't have anyone, I don't think we have anyone else in the cast who can discuss this with me. But all I have played this week is Overwatch.
Yes,
I wish
and
I could.
God damn it.
Yeah, me too. Not have it.
Wish I could.
It is really good. I mean, obviously you can watch people stream it if you don't have access to it yet. But I think it's a really, really well-made game for a V1. It is maybe the most polished I've ever seen a game, like for its first public iteration, aside from, obviously shows and stuff. But like I think all the classes are pretty cool. They're all it's basically the same. It's the same itch that TF2 scratched when it first came out, which is like you have every character has a very different role, and I think it's actually feels a little more dynamic than TF2 because because there are more classes, and so like there are two sniping classes, but they play completely differently. Whereas like the sniper in TF2, I guess now the sniper sort of has different rifles and stuff, so like every class can play kind of differently in TF2, but this is I don't know, it feels different than that. Like each of the tanks feels really different, each of the damage feels really different, and like certain characters have hard counters to others. Like I don't know, it's very good. The game is really, really fun, and I want them to roll it out to more people because the only gripe I've had so far is it can take a while to get in a server. So I don't know how many people they let into these first beta waves, but it's been kind of hard to find a match sometimes.
You think this is going to be the next major esport as far as like popularity,
I mean, I think
or remains to be seen?
I think it is just because like I think everyone at this point assumes a new free-to-play Blizzard game will be an esport because
Yeah,
Blizzard will
sure.
put money behind it. You know that the game is going to get supported. So I think that's a sort of a given to some extent, but I think that it is a game I could see myself playing a lot in a way that I haven't I haven't felt with a shooter recently. I mean, as much as I love CS:GO, I don't play a whole lot of it. I watch a fair amount of it, but it's like it's the new fresh thing. But I think it will catch on. I'm just curious. Like I'm curious to see how they'll monetize it. Currently in the game, there is nothing for you to spend money on. There's nothing that's like, hey, this is where you would spend money, but it's not open yet. It's like there's nothing, none of that is in there yet. So I'm curious to see what they'll do, if they'll do some sort of hats thing. Because like I was thinking, I talked to a few people this week about how I thought they would monetize the game, and they can't really do. I don't think they can really do skins, because in a MOBA, like having a different skin is fine because you know what hero you're playing against generally. But in a first person shooter, you have someone like flit across your screen and go behind a wall or something. You don't want to be unsure of what character that was.
Right. Nice. Yeah, that makes sense.
So I would be kind of surprised if they went with full out skins, just because I think it would make it kind of hard for new players to recognize who they were playing against, which I think is maybe why TF2 sort of found the perfect thing with hats and like decorations, where the core skin is the same, but you have like stuff that you can put on it. Anyway, because no one else can talk about it, I don't want to belabor it too much, but like I do think it's a really well-made game. Like so far, it has lived up to the hype, because it's pretty much all I want to play right now. And so I'm sorry. I'm sorry for making you all jealous, and I'm sorry that we can't
Yeah,
play it.
basically.
I think it looks good.
I want to play it.
I'm
Trust
trying
me,
to
man, I
I'm
do.
trying to be
Oh, God.
informative for the people that don't have access to it yet, but I really just do want them to roll it out quickly to everyone, because it seems in a more than a good enough state to have as like basically open beta quality. It's not perfect. There's like still a little bit of wonkiness, like changing video settings, changing keybinds sometimes like acts up, but the core game is very solid for V1.
Now I have a question about Overwatch.
Hmm.
What exactly does it do to set itself apart? Because I'm watching gameplay of Overwatch, and it looks fun, but it looks very, like, not doing anything to really, like, set itself apart. I mean, it looks really, really like the definitive. It looks like TF2 picking the classes. It's all. I don't really know what I'm trying to say. It looks
I
like.
think it's like, I mean, I think it is different in that there has been nothing like TF2 since TF2. And
I see that, I
it
see
is
that.
like, I mean, I use TF2 as the example because I think TF2 is the closest, like easily the closest thing you can compare it to, but I actually don't think it plays all that similarly to TF2, just because
Well,
the characters are so different. Like they're so different from one another. So there are a lot of different strategies for attacking and defending. And
would you
I think it's more dynamic than TF2 is.
would you compare it at all to Monday Night Combat if
Uh
you've ever played that?
yeah, kind of, but it's like I think Monday Night Combat like you can compare it to that game, but ultimately if you've played TF2, I think you will feel at home with the way that Overwatch works. Like even down to the game modes. I mean, the game modes are like capture and hold and payload, which
Hmm.
are basically pioneered by Team Fortress. So it will feel familiar to Team Fortress players, but the actual gameplay I think it feels like just a refreshment of TF2. It's as if Blizzard created their own version of TF2, and like that's I mean because that's what it is. But I
Yeah,
think that's the best way I can describe it. Like if you liked TF2 when it came out, you will definitely like this because the team-based game is is there. It is a very
it's
heavy
strong.
team-based game. It is like even having a group of people that I was playing with. I think we had a group of 4 or 5. We we lost a match to some randoms just because we didn't have a tank. And like that was, we were relatively skilled players for how long the game has been out, and we didn't have a tank, and like so just sort of messing up on the team comp cost us the game. And like I think that's why I find that sort of game interesting, because you cannot succeed without team play.
Okay,
So it's really
Um,
good. I can't wait until more people get in.
cool.
Once I get it, trust me, I will be giving it a whirl. Once it's in my account, I've been checking, but no love. Not that I give really Blizzard titles love anyway. I would be surprised if I had it. Is it just I mean, as far as like, did you have to? Can you have it without specifically requesting? Like, are they doing it that way, or is it only if
I
you requested it?
it's hard to tell.
Okay.
I know at minimum you have to have chosen that you want to be selected for the beta in your Battle.net account. Like
Opt-in, yeah.
it's an opt-in thing.
Yeah.
But as for
Okay.
how they're actually like choosing the people that are in each wave of invites, I think that's anyone's guess,
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
causing
cool,
a
and
lot of
I'll-
consternation.
Yeah. I'll go real quick. I played a couple things. The more notable one, which we will talk about in the new releases, but I played a game called The Park, which did you play it yet, Katie, or no?
No, I haven't played it.
Okay, gotcha.
I've seen other people play. Like I watched all of yours.
Oh, okay, yeah, and I really liked it. It's basically, without too many spoilers, you're a woman who goes into an amusement park to basically find your lost son. So that's kind of how it starts. And it's not very long. It's about It's about like 2 hours, maybe it's like 2 hours and 30 minutes if you really go slow. Um, and it could be called a walking simulator. That's one of the things that it is like categorized at. But I don't know, like environment wise, it's really well done. Like it's creepy. And then at the ending of the game is I actually really enjoyed it, and it makes you kind of think. And I don't think the ending was. I would say the ending was somewhat open ended, right, Katie? You saw it. Like we were discussing it afterwards.
Well, actually, what I got from your stream is that I went in and I was thinking, okay, I don't want to spoil too much, and then the ending happened and credits started rolling. I'm like,
Oh,
that's it?
really?
That's
Oh,
it?
okay. Gotcha.
But, so I
Okay.
probably won't play it. But
Okay.
yeah, the ending.
I thought
saw
the
you talk
build up
about the
was
story.
kind of cool. Yeah.
Oh, the build-up was excellent, yeah. And that final
the end.
scene, yeah, you're right. It does leave a lot to interpret. But
And it's basically kind of like if you've ever played Dear Esther, like Gone Home. It's in that vein
Yeah.
for sure. But I mean, again, and I can see like it's like 2 hours and it's like $10, I think, on sale. I think it may be 15 normally, like 13 or 14. But definitely a cool experience. I enjoyed it, and not like definitely some pretty like tense moments, but it's not. I wouldn't say strictly a horror game. Kind of like
would you say
exploration in a bit, in a way rather. But
would you say that going to the park is worth the ride?
God damn it!
First edition.
You know what? I would say I would say it's an expensive ticket, but it's worth the ride.
All
I don't
right.
know. Something like that.
It's gonna have
I
to
don't know.
adopt that for my review.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, for the review. I also played episode 2 of Telltale's Minecraft game that they made, and oh god, I played it as a joke, as a punishment to chat actually, because I thought that the entire chat was spamming as a joke, like because we were trying to find stuff to play after my Grand Theft Auto Vice City save after I don't know 25 hours corrupted. So rip that. Never finishing that game. I'm very very sad. But so we were looking for a game to play, and people started spamming play the new Telltale Minecraft game. So I was like, all right, this is what you want, chat. Okay, we'll do it. So I got it, installed it, and played episode 1. And I mean, there's a couple things. One is it's clearly aimed at a very young audience, which, I mean, to be fair, that's a huge portion of what makes up people that play Minecraft, younger people. But it's without any kind of like finesse or effort or solid voice acting or like any kind of original story. It's so lazy on so many levels, and to the point that they did the first episode, which took about, I don't know, maybe 2 hours, and then episode 2 came out the day after, and it was literally 45 minutes of gameplay. I say gameplay, but it's Telltale, so I mean that's kind of comes to the territory, and it's just so horrible. And there's like nods, like occasionally, like there's a whole joke in it. Spoiler, sorry guys, if you're going to play Minecraft Story Mode, there's a whole joke that they have to get this special kind of TNT that they call the F-bomb.
Oh.
And it's like kind of like a nod, like, oh, the adults will know what the F-bomb is, but these kids playing it, right? Because they don't say it, they're like, the F-bomb? Oh my god, it sounds terrible. And so you're like sitting there and you're like, okay, like this is clearly meant for an adult, but everything else in the game is so juvenile and horribly done. It's just, I'm sorry, Telltale.
We don't want to
Come
drop
fuck
the
on.
F-bomb.
Yeah, it's exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like that's one of the quotes in the game. And so like you can do entertainment for adults and children. I mean, look at Pixar. I'm not saying that they have to
The Lego
deliver
Movie.
something on. Yeah, exactly. That was my example, was like the Lego Movie, because people were like, "You idiot! It's meant for kids. Don't take it so seriously." I'm like, there's lots of things that are meant for kids that adults can enjoy because it's smart on
Yeah.
multiple levels. And Minecraft has none of that. It screams massive cash in, which it is, and just like really really rushed, and just kind of like get it out the door. So
Ooh, I just thought of something. I just thought of a great quote.
garbage.
Being written
Yeah.
for a child is not an excuse to have been written by a child.
Ooh.
Oh.
KD, that's so good. Fit that into your paper that you're doing, and then just list
Yes.
yourself as a source, even if it has no relevance.
Yes.
Because she'll probably freak, because that's a great quote. That's pretty good.
It's insightful, yeah.
That's good. That's you should play it, review it, and then use that as like one of your lines. That would be perfect.
Cool.
Anyway, so yeah, so I played that, and then Counter Strike, as usual. I'm trying to think of anything else that I'm missing. I think those were the 3 this week. So, We should talk about, though, before we move on to the news here, there is a couch stream going on next Saturday, which would be, what day would that be, Brandon, on the calendar?
That's November 7th, Scott.
That is November 7th, exactly. And we're going to be giving people a sneak peek of, we have an Alienware Steam machine that they were kind enough to send us, and we have a Steam controller as well. So you can check that out, take a look at that hardware, and also we're going to be giving away a Valve Complete Pack, which includes all current and future Valve games, which is really cool. So you're going to want to be in that stream, and should be a good time. Have everybody together, and then opportunity to win Half-Life 3 when it inevitably comes out, and not have to pay for it with that special.
If you live
code.
long enough.
If that's true. I mean, this is a lifetime. This key does not expire, but yeah. So that's happening on the 7th. So just mark your calendars for that. Should be a good time. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I totally blanked on this. I started South Park: Stick of Truth. I know, super late, but I just got about an hour and a half into that, and yeah, it was like that was one of those games that people were just like, man, it's so good, it's so good. I was like, it can't be that good. And then I mean, I really like South Park, but I was like, it's not really like playing an episode, is it? And then it was, and then also there was like this really deep RPG underneath of it. I'm like, what the. This is insane. So I'm enjoying that. Again, always late to the party on that kind of stuff. But was there anything else about the couch stream that we had to say, Brandon?
Sure. No, I think just it's going to be sometime starting in the afternoon on Saturday. So just
it would be afternoon.
Keep an eye on our Twitter feed at KBMOD Gaming for the start time on that.
Yep.
And just in case it wasn't clear, it'll be like a sneak peek at the Alienware Steam machine.
Yes.
We're not giving it away.
No. I didn't say that, did I?
No, you didn't say
Okay.
that. It's just like because we're giving away a Valve Complete Pack.
Yes.
But like it's if you're sort of just like listening to this, on the
Halfway,
train or in the
yes.
car or something, and you hear giveaway an Alienware Steam machine, I just wanted to clarify.
Yes. Okay. No, that is a good clarification. No.
Damn, I was really
There will be a
hoping
Valve
to,
Complete Pack, but not a Steam machine. So. Unless KDZen, you wanna put up the money to give away Steam machine, then.
Oh, of course. Yeah, that's me.
Okay.
Yeah, just
All right.
donate.
Okay,
I have
well, so
donation.
KDZen's going to give away a Steam machine
So-
during the
so-
couch stream.
Yeah, that'll be
there we go.
courtesy.
You'll pick a winner. Courtesy
Two
of family.
runner-ups will receive Xbox Ones. But also,
They just have to
Yeah.
leave a comment, right, and say what they want. If they want the Xbox One or the PlayStation.
all they have to do is
4.
subscribe, and then
Okay.
someone will be getting an Xbox One. That's what I'm gonna say.
Okay. Very cool. All right. Do you want to run a quick ad, Brendan, before we do the news, or should we just
Sure,
jump
we'll
into
run
it?
a quick 60-second break,
All right. Let's do that.
and then we will return.
Yeah. I miss it, dude. I miss the YouTube giveaway drama. Those were the days.
Man,
All those. It's all over now. White Boy's still making videos though. I went on his
Oh,
channel.
really?
He's doing his thing.
so
Yeah.
giving away Elgatos.
No, I don't think so. I don't know really.
Think
Still
so.
playing
Good
Call of
Let's Play
Duty
group.
on the PlayStation. I'm trying to think what else like during that. There was X Jaws and God.
Whatever happened to X-Jaws? I hear that he. I mean, we won't go into all
We won't go into the
stuff.
details, but he's had he's had some ups and downs, but he used to live he actually used to live, I think we've talked about this, but I used to live literally in the same town or same city
Oh,
as
wow.
him when I lived in North Hollywood. Yeah, where I used to live.
Did he like shrug you off when you tried to talk to him? Like you were.
No, I never actually like ran into him on the street,
Okay.
but yeah. Anyway.
We should also mention it's not necessarily related to us, but related to things we care about. Next weekend is the official Extra Life marathon weekend.
Yes.
So a bunch of people, I'm sure, will be doing their Extra Life streams all next weekend. So keep that in mind, or if you're planning on doing one of your own, we'll hopefully
I
be checking.
I
some
might
of
have
those
said
out.
on here. I might have said on here that I'd be doing mine this weekend, but I unfortunately will have to postpone to a later date.
It's all right. You know what? The kids can wait. They got plenty of time, Katie, so don't worry about it.
They can wait for a Ryan prelude.
Savage.
I'm just kidding.
Hey,
Hey, at least
$1,500
yeah.
last year. So
No, that's great. No,
As long
in
as
all
you do it
seriousness,
at
yeah.
some
If you,
point.
if
God damn it.
as long as you actually do the marathon, I mean that is all that
Exactly.
matters.
That's all that matters.
Even people. I think people. It's funny when I think about Extra Life. I'm sure we're back from commercial already, but
Yeah.
when I think about Extra Life, it's funny because like I think I've seen some people that they may they may raise like $50 or $100, and it's like that maybe doesn't feel like a ton, but whenever someone does like a charity run or something, that's like really good. If you raised, $100 or $200
Yeah,
for your
absolutely.
charity run or your walk or whatever, and
Yeah.
it's funny that like that the expectations can be so much higher for Extra Life, and I don't really know why that is, but every dollar counts and goes to your local hospital. So
It
even
does.
even
Yeah.
$100 is like pretty huge. If you walked in and just gave $100 bill to your local hospital, like that actually has a pretty significant impact.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. I feel like the fact that with a lot of that fundraising stuff is like people will give you cash or like write a check physically. So like on the internet, it can be easier to donate in the sense of like you literally just click a
That's
few
true.
buttons.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
that might be why people are like, oh, but yeah, you're absolutely right. Like raise $200 or $100 like that. That absolutely helps. So definitely. All right. Well, let's get into the news here. We've got some couple interesting items to talk about this week. We're going to start off with some big changes that are coming to Quake Live, and basically the gist of it is that it's going to be fully integrated, yeah, into Steam.
Yeah, so they already did this. I put this news item in here because
Yeah.
this is like met with a lot of controversy from Quake Live players and sort of came out of nowhere. Like, I don't know that anyone really knew this was happening, but Quake Live is now, I think, only available on Steam. Like, it is now a Steam game, and it is now $10. It is
Mm.
not free.
Mm-hmm.
Quake Live has been free like since Quake Live existed. They had a subscription service, which like I think it was pretty cheap. It was like a couple bucks a month, but it was I never felt the need to pay for it. Like it got you a few different things, but it wasn't like I wouldn't even really describe Quake Live as free to play because the subscription service was like kind of a weird thing. But now it is like not free to play at all, and it's not free. It's just $10 straight up, and it has dedicated servers, like Steam Workshop support, like some cool stuff. But from what I can tell, they like nuked their existing Quake Live world.
Yeah.
And so like
Yeah.
Quake Live, if you haven't played it, you had a character profile, and it stored like your match statistics and your lifetime kills and things like that, and I think that is now just gone. And so a lot of people are like really mad about that
Mm.
because Quake Live's been around a long time.
Yeah. How many? I mean, would it be 10 years?
No, I'm
Not
not
quite.
sure.
Maybe like 6 or 7.
Yeah, I'm not sure when Quake Live came out proper, because it's basically just Quake 3, but with some improvements and stuff over time.
Yeah.
But I
And
don't
feel like
remember
it's
when
been
it
around
exactly came out.
forever. For a really long
It's been
time.
around a long
Browser
time.
form. Yeah.
Like that's I mean, I know it's been around as long as I've been going to QuakeCon, because like that's the version of Quake that they play in competitive now, is they play Quake Live.
Right.
But I just thought that was kind of weird to come out of left field. I mean, it's neat that they're still updating the game. Like
Yeah.
they've put some effort into it, but I was really surprised that they just straight up retired like their whole service, the whole
Yeah.
part of it that they ran. So
I mean,
I saw like a
yeah.
lot of angry Reddit comments and stuff.
I mean, I don't know how many people, what their actual like player base was with the old system. Do you have any idea of that, Brandon?
Probably not good. Like
That's what I mean. So
my-
I think they've just cut their losses and we're like, we're going to reach a way larger audience, obviously, once we're integrated into Steam.
That's kind
Subscriptions
of
are
what
pointless because no one's using them, so we'll just charge $10 and
That's
be done
kind of
with
what I think, but
Yeah.
like it's so weird because I feel like this is one of the only games where I think I've seen them basically be free and then they turn it into a one-time purchase.
Mhm.
Like you're basically you're asking a lot of people that played your game for free and like appreciated what it was, because you can just like live out your nostalgia anytime you want, by downloading Quake Live. Playable
Mhm.
in a browser, like, a really cool thing. Even if a lot of people didn't necessarily play it all the time, it was pretty neat to just be able to go and play Quake in a browser.
Yeah.
Um, but now, like, to tell your actual players, the people that care about this game, that you have to pay $10 now to get it on Steam,
Mhm.
feels really weird to me. Because,
Yeah.
like, do I play Quake enough to pay $10 for it? Like, I probably do, because I go back to it every now and then, and I love Quake, so like I might throw $10 at it. But most people absolutely would not.
Mhm.
Like, most people aren't playing Quake really at all. It seems so weird. It seems like kind of a slap in the face to the community that still does live on that game. And I'm sure, like, I think you're probably right, Scott. The player base is
Yeah.
probably almost nothing, where like it's probably costing them money to run their own servers and stuff, which I never really understood for Quake Live anyway. Like, I never really understood why they didn't just have dedicated servers and let the community run those servers. Uh,
Mm.
yeah, it's maybe a good thing, but like, I think the community aspect makes it a bad thing. I think it'll probably leave a sour taste in people's mouths, and potentially like actually kill Quake Live, just because it's not accessible anymore. Like, you have to pay $10 for it. So unless this is the kind of thing that they put on sale for 50 cents, on every Steam sale or something, like, I don't see a lot of people adding this to their Steam library, just to have it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And then there's also, I'm just reading the comment section, there's people saying that, like, hey, oh, this is just, all you got to do is email them and say that, put a support ticket that you paid a subscription in the past or whatever, and they'll just give you a key. And there's people like posting the comments from the actual support that are like, nope, no longer support subscriptions. They didn't give them a key. And they also said, if this is the exact email, please note that no stats, friends, awards, or clans were transferred from before the update as well.
See,
So
that's the thing that seems
that's
crazy to me,
that's kind of
is that they
nutty.
just gutted their whole like community piece of Quake Live. And there probably aren't that many people utilizing that as their main way of kind of interacting with the people they play with.
Yeah.
But still, like,
Yeah, it's pretty.
that seems
It's
like
pretty heavy surgery to do on a
yeah,
game, something
yeah,
like
that
that.
seems really heavy-handed, to come out of nowhere. Because, like, I think maybe if they had seeded this and been like, hey guys, what would it look like if this game was on Steam? What would you want to see? If they got a little bit of community buy-in, like, maybe it wouldn't have been so bad. But I just think that game is like, it lives on a small diehard community,
Hmm.
and like, why would you stick with Quake Live at this point? I just don't. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why you would stick with it when they apparently don't really care about the game. Or
Yeah.
like, they kind of do, but they don't. It's like they added features, but they gutted a bunch of community stuff that they were running. So
Right.
I'm
Exactly.
never I have never understood id's strategy with Quake Live, because I actually think Quake Live will be a great free-to-play game. You pay 50 cents or a dollar or something for, a crazy skin. Like, they actually
Hmm.
have a bunch of skins in the game. It supports skins. Like, you could build a little infrastructure on top of that to pay a dollar, here and there, or like skin your weapons, or I don't know. There's some cool stuff they could do with it to make that game break even and keep it as like a cool community thing. But
Yeah.
I think they just haven't ever known what to do with that game, and I don't know. This seems like one more move in that like kind of weird trajectory of this game's
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, definitely. So, one note, Darkwing in chat was just saying that also if you had it before the game was actually listed on like the store to actually buy for $10, if you actually had it installed like on your Steam account, like
Oh, really?
annually, they'll actually you don't have to pay for the newer
Okay,
version. So,
that's even dumber. That is like so
oh, I thought that was
remarkably
gonna I
stupid.
thought that was gonna help Brandon. But you're
No,
like,
that is so dumb. Because just because I played Quake Live before, you're creating a
yeah.
barrier to entry for just new people that didn't have it installed? You've got to be kidding me. I can't look at my Steam library right now because I'll cover up the overlay, but that's so dumb.
Yeah.
Ah,
All right. All right. So that's what we want to talk about in regards to Quake. Let's talk a little bit about single player games that are on dead DRM servers. Um, so this has been an ongoing thing where basically, if I'm from what I read in the article, if I'm thinking this right, there's the fact that basically games that are left by the publishers that are essentially abandoned or no longer updated and stuff like that, and those servers, people want to basically be able to mess with mess with them, right, Brandon? Essentially, like
Yeah, yeah. So the DMCA or
because
the U.S. Copyright Office goes through, I don't know on what interval, but they go through and they choose which, like they choose what exemptions to the DMCA
right,
will kind of happen during that interval, and so it covers things like jailbreaking a phone and other um, other things like that. This is, I think, a pretty cool one where basically uh, you will now have the legal right to crack a game that has a single player component that requires online authentication if the publisher has formally shut down the servers for longer than 6 months. So this is like a pretty hot topic for I don't know. It seems to crop up every now and then when when some DRM technology gets turned off and it breaks a handful of games that use that technology, that then you literally can't play it because there's a check for that activation server that always fails. So now you can legally crack games that have that sort of check. So that's cool. This is like a
that is
pretty
good
neat
news.
thing.
And again, that's just for single player titles, though, or I think they make that distinction in the article. So
Yeah, and I think that like
multiplayer
that
stuff.
so it wouldn't cover things if I'm understanding right, which I'm not sure if I am, but it probably wouldn't cover things like an MMO that's no longer hosted. For
Right.
instance, Star Wars Galaxies.
So
Like it wouldn't cover cracking the code to like host your own version or like instance of an MMO that's not online anymore. I don't think it will cover things like that. Um, but this is a good step in the right direction, at least for sure.
yeah, yeah, it's kind of interesting that it needs to. I mean, I guess it's copyright, so anyway, we go to court anyway. But like, it seems like a pretty common sense thing to be like, hey, come on, guys, you're not supporting this product anymore, and now, unless I crack it, I can't use it. I mean, I
Yeah.
guess that's their prerogative. But
Well, and the nice thing about these DMCA exemptions is that it like formalizes the people that would actually spend time on this stuff.
right,
Because a lot of people that might have the skill to create a crack like that won't do it because they know it is technically illegal. Whereas when they do these DMCA exemptions, they you will get someone that like has the skills to do it. They will create like good working cracks for this stuff because they know that legally they're able to distribute it without having to worry about getting sued or being taken to court. So this is, even though like in practice a lot of these cracks already exist out there on the internet, the creators of those cracks were sort of in a kind of legal gray area, whereas now they're not. So that's really good.
definitely good news. All right, so we've talked about Batman a lot on this podcast, and the saga absolutely continues with. So it kind of works. Basically, it came out again. It re-released. What was the date on that? Actually, is that listed on here? I know it was. I think it was this week, right? Because that was going to be the releases that we talked about. We did talk about that last week. So it's back out. This is the fixed. This is the version where they took it back and they were like, man, I know you PC guys aren't happy. This is an unacceptable product. Apparently, for a lot of people, it's still unacceptable, and they're not happy. And this is basically what they said. I'll read a little bit of it. And this is from Sean J., the community manager. He said, "We are very sorry that many of our customers continue to be unhappy with the PC version of Batman Arkham Knight. We worked hard to get the game to live up to the standard you deserve, but understand that many of you are still experiencing issues. So what they're doing is, until the end of 2015, full refund on Batman Arkham PC, regardless of how long you've played the product. So basically just open-ended. If it's in your library and you're not happy, they will refund you. So
That is crazy to me.
they are continuing to hemorrhage. I mean, I don't.
This is
Is this
so
now one of the
nuts.
worst disasters of any game release like definitely all time, right? It's got to
It's
be
gotta
in the
be.
top
It's gotta
top
be.
couple.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
This is like-
yeah, they're like, you know what, fuck it. Even if you have 60, 70, 80, and so many people will do that.
Yeah. They'll
Once
wait
you
till,
open this
December
up,
31st.
what's the incentive not to, unless you just kind of like feel like you want to be a decent person, but then you look at it and be like, this company rushed this fucking game out. I don't feel the need to be a decent person. I
Yeah.
can stick it back to them. They're gonna have so many refunds. It's
Mhm.
gonna be unbelievable.
Yeah,
So.
this is the worst. I think this is the worst like saga of launch for a single player type game that
Yeah,
I can
single player.
remember.
Definitely.
Like, has there been anything worse? I mean, we have like Battlefield servers. We've had like MMO launches that were terrible. Like, I've
SimCity.
definitely had online experiences that have been bad for for an extended period after they release. But I can't recall a single player experience this bad,
Yeah.
like
Ah.
ever.
I mean, we should note too. I think, from what I understand, like the console versions of the game are fine, right? Wasn't it? Isn't this mainly just the PC release?
Yeah, they're
that's
fine.
fucked
Yeah.
up? Yeah.
They're fine.
So, yeah, it's just the PC version.
Just-
Oh, and there's an additional note that's absolutely charming. I don't know if you added this, Brandon, but the Windows 10 users issues. They said we found that if you have 12 gigs of system RAM on your PC, the game operates perfectly fine without without
That's not too
paging, and
bad.
provides a smoother gameplay experience. So again, I mean, I don't know if it's crazy to assume
Reasonable
people have
amount.
12 gigs of RAM, but that's a pretty high-end rig for most people to be like, oh
Ugh.
yeah, I just got a 12 gigs of RAM sitting around. You know what? All
Barely
of it
runs
going
on
dedicated to run Arkham Knight, man. Because
Ugh.
anyway,
Yeah, I think
See, what this also
it's,
says-
it's funny because that
not well optimized.
that amount of RAM is not necessarily uncommon, and I'm sure the person was probably trying to be helpful with that statement,
Yeah, but
but it comes off as like, why are you saying I need 12 gigs of RAM to run this game?
like to run it properly, like that just screams like like they had no, like the optimization is clearly terrible. That you need 12 gigs
Yeah, it's
to
wow.
operate smoothly.
Just reading this is so confusing. They say, for those of you that hold on to the game, we're going to continue to address the issues we can fix and talk to you about the issues that we cannot fix.
God.
That seems
That
so
hold on to the
odd.
game.
Yeah, like I don't see why they
basically
would.
So
admitted
defeatist.
defeat at this
They
point.
did.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm actually glad we
That's
have like a
insane.
nice history of over the past
We're gonna
week.
talk to you about.
You're right. He actually used the sentence for those of you that hold on to the game to discuss one of what was
Oh,
looked
no.
at as one of the more exciting, hopefully,
Like,
releases
if your
of-
PR copy
So-
editor approves that phrase,
Hold
you
the feet.
know that like there's no lower.
I mean,
It's
can
like they
see
know they're
themselves-
a sinking ship. They know that they're the
Yeah.
Titanic, and they're holding on to that game for dear life while they're trying to man the lifeboats. It's hilarious. It's a hilarious situation. It sucks, but it's funny.
Yeah, if you're going to be offering full refunds to anyone for the next 60 days, what is the point of even trying to like fix this sinking boat? Like,
And you know what
Can
this
they really
also-
see themselves bringing this to like a playable product at any point in the future?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, for a
It's
lot
so
of people, probably
crazy.
not. I also like this. I mean, talk about really like letting the Steam News, like tell the story from this announcement. There's an edit by Valve at the bottom of the announcement, which clearly came obviously after the fact, and it said, "For users who were having trouble submitting a refund for the game purchased on Steam, please try your refund submission again. The issue should now be resolved," which tells me that they were just inundated, right, with hundreds
Yeah.
of tickets of people having
They
60,
probably
Oh,
70,
man.
take the
80
human
hours.
element out of their refund system for this game and just say, listen, if you hit that button, it's automatic, man.
It's automatic, and that, like this was announced, and then the people working on those tickets weren't informed, and then they were like, "Okay, Warner Brothers said that no matter what the hours are, just refund them all, just check it off automatically." Like, it's
I
just, yeah.
cannot believe I just clicked on Steam and the very first thing on the front page, special offer, Batman Arkham Knight includes genuine TF2 skins.
Oh my god!
I can't believe this. So if you want your Team
What's
Fortress
funny
2
is
items.
that this officially re-released on the 28th. It's
Yeah.
only been 4 days since then, and look at the number of updates that have been posted to this page.
Yeah, that's actually
Like
you're right about that.
the amount of negative feedback that just every time they do something is
it's
amazing.
everything starts off with "we apologize." Need to know. We apologize.
Well, I scrolled down this page a little bit, and I just love seeing something like this. The PC update on October 29th, so the day after they launched it. They're talking about the RAM thing. They do some changelog, and they talk about a flickering bug on laptops when running in full screen, and they give instructions for navigating and editing an XML file. I mean,
As the fix. Oh no!
wow! I really have
dude.
no words.
Listen, man. This isn't a free lunch, dude. If you want your games to work, you need to know how to go in an XML file and update it. Okay?
Yeah, come on. You're
That
not
is
a real
amazing,
gamer
though,
if you don't
yeah.
know how to. Yeah.
It's like that counts as
There's
fixing it,
some,
right? If the coders tell us, the instructions on the XML file, and then it runs, and we have the people do it, that's as good as patching, right? It's fine.
Figured out how to make the game work. Just open up C++, and from there, they just
Yeah,
start
you're gonna
talking
need to
about
open up
coding.
your hex editor, and
Yeah.
you'll find this memory address.
God.
Wow. Well,
There is gold in the Steam reviews, though. Like, it seems Mr. Freeze has won. That's a great one. If you see a PC port from WB, warn a brother. Warn a brother.
that's good.
That's good.
Yeah. That's maybe the
God,
best thing
this
that came
is-
out of it is that pun that you just made, Katie. That might be
Steam
the
reviews, yeah.
best thing. Yeah. You reading the Steam reviews and that gold.
God.
All right. Yeah. Well, anyway, and
What
it's
a
given us a
shame.
lot of laughter too. So I guess it's not totally, wasn't totally for nothing.
We've benefited from this.
We definitely have. Brandon, I'm gonna let you take this last. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm just gonna say it. I can't defeat the intro boss. The power of his screen flickering is just too strong.
Damn it. Brandon, I'm gonna let you take this last story because this is.
Well, this
is
last
all you-
one, this last
All
story
you.
is very near and dear to my heart, and I actually like it. I'm kind of surprised. I didn't realize this was something that was going to happen at all. But all past and, well, they're all past games, I guess. All past Tribes games are now officially free and free to download. So this goes back all the way to Earth Siege, which was a '94 release, which I've never even played that. I got my start midway through this series, if that tells you how old the Tribes franchise is. But Earth Siege 2, Star Siege Tribes, Tribes 2, Tribes Aerial Assault, Tribes Vengeance, and then obviously Tribes Ascend. Tribes Ascend was already free to play, but all the other games were like not really. Some of them you could get. Like I think I had been able to download the old Tribes and maybe Tribes 2 for free, but like Tribes Vengeance and Tribes Aerial Assault was a console only title. So like I've never even played that, but apparently you can download a PC version. So anyway, super like serious props to High Res, who I think just must own all the. I know they own the rights to the IP of the Tribe's name, but I guess I didn't realize they actually owned like all the old games too, and they must have done some work to like package these up and make them available to download. I think it's
that's what I'm
super
thinking.
cool.
Like, making them compatible with, like, Windows 7 and 8.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if there's any compatibility stuff, but basically each of these is just like an ISO file, and so I'm assuming you can just mount it and install it. So this is like a really cool piece of PC gaming history. I mean, obviously, I've said on this podcast before, like I got my start in online gaming playing Star Siege Tribes, and so this franchise like has really hardcore PC roots. And if you've never played them, or if you like were too young, to have played them, you can just download them for free and kind of get a taste of, a classic PC franchise. So
I can't imagine how populated they would be.
no, and I don't even know like some of these. I don't know if they have master servers or anything. Like I don't know if you can play some of them online. But at least you can download them and play what is there. I have not dug in to see what they like, whether there's any online component. But I will.
I think we came full circle too here, Brandon. We are now discussing what is good fan service, because that's really good fan service. And we
Yeah.
started off with Quake Live, doing kind of the opposite in the sense of being like, yeah, we got rid of everything, and it's all on Steam, and you got to pay for it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
kind. Yeah. It is kind of weird. I mean, I think.
a little bit different.
I
Because
think
I mean, technically, Tribes could have been like, they didn't have to do this. Not that I mean, I don't think there's people clamoring to like purchase all the Tribes titles if they don't have them. But
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah. I
have
think
to do
that's like that. It's one of those things that you know, high res is not perfect by any means, but I think
Yeah.
one thing they do take seriously is like they are the owner of the Tribes license, and that is a storied franchise for a lot of people. And so I think it's cool that they put a little bit of effort into, putting these games out that like, they could have held them back and maybe put them on Steam or something and gotten a little bit of revenue from people wanting to experience that nostalgia, but instead they just hosted it themselves and made them all free to download, which I think is really cool and something they didn't have to do. So major props to them.
very cool. All right.
And that's also, by the way, that's at tribesuniverse.com is where you can go and download all those.
Yeah. All right. We'll let KD. There's some new releases going on this week,
can
as
take it away.
always. Yeah, just a few.
All right.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so coming out this week was we can talk about the beta for Overwatch. That's
Yes.
been in circulation, people getting codes. Battleborn, I haven't actually heard about this. I think I saw Lynn's playing it on the stream. But
Yeah, they rolled out like
Someone-
a small number of like
That's
beta
the,
units or something.
okay.
High res, right? Is Battleborn?
Battleborn? No,
Gearbox.
High Res is Paladins.
Oh, that's what I'm sorry. That's what I was thinking.
Gearbox.
I was thinking Paladins. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Gotcha.
And then coming out this week, November 2nd, we've got Sonic Lost World, not to be confused with Sonic Boom, the terrible Sonic game. Sonic Lost World is actually not that bad. Hopefully it's a good PC port. That's going to be coming out at $30, which I think is a bit too high for a Wii U game that came out a couple of years ago. But it's when I saw this on my feed on Twitter, I think it's been announced like less than a month ago. But it's very surprising to just see this come up on Steam. But yeah, that's coming out November 2nd. We're not going to talk about that one. That was an Arabic MMO that I've chosen to omit and not discuss. You can find it if you look hard enough on Steam. But anyways, because I cannot
a
even
tease.
begin to...
Look for the
We have to
MMO.
talk about it. We can't.
No, you have to.
You can't give us your inner monologue about how you don't want to
Okay.
talk about it
tease
because
it.
now people are going to be curious.
Link it in chat
Okay.
too for people, and
I'll link it
also
in
tell us
chat.
what it's called, Katie. Please pronounce it properly. That would be great.
Oh,
Oh my
Wow.
god.
No.
All right.
sorry, that was out of line. I'm
Hold
sorry.
on. I'm actually. You know what I'm doing?
It's
I'm
called-
putting this.
Oh, are you Google translating it?
I'm Google translating it so that I can know what the title of the game is here. Let me see. Translate.
It looks like some kind of... I wouldn't call it anime.
It says okay.
Basically,
It says
it looks like the next WoW.
Uribe World. This is what it translates to for URIBE and then world.
You're right.
Europe World.
Uribe World? I don't know. Somebody is anybody
I don't think we
That
have any
translation is
Arabic
correct.
listeners. We might. But yeah, it looks... I have nothing at all to say about this.
Well, I was asking you like how you knew what was going on, but there are some screenshots. It looks a little bit like what was the RPG that everyone was disappointed by that went free to play recently? Why am I blanking?
I have no idea.
WildStar?
WildStar. A little, maybe.
WildStar was
WildStar
disappointing.
like had a baby with
Well, you said a game that went free to play recently.
Meg-
Oh, I see.
I think a lot of people thought WorldStar was disappointing. WorldStar.
WorldStar?
Not
WorldStar.
God damn it.
WorldStar.
WorldStar is never disappointing. Let me make that very clear.
That would be a great
WorldStar
MMO.
hiphop.com is incredible.
You just walk around filming fights.
WildStar.
Someone's got to have. WildStar Hip Hop has to be a website, right?
WildStar is free to play, isn't it? Who's
Yeah,
telling me
it
that?
is now.
Thank you. Okay, I was just making sure. People in the chat trying to mess me up. Okay. Anyway, yeah.
So
So,
next
check
up.
it out.
Next up is a game called Poncho, which I was just looking through and I found this. It looks to be, it's like it's a pixelated adventure platformer, going through like the kind of dimensions kind of deal, where you're in like a 3D environment and you're bouncing back in between like the dimensions of the world, but it is 2D. I will go and put this in the chat for you.
That does look
But
pretty cool.
yeah, it looks interesting. It comes out on the 3rd. No price on it yet, but it looks interesting. It's just about a robot in a world where humanity is no more. I just thought it looked cute and artsy, so put it in chat. Anyways, so after that, coming out on the 3rd again is Anno 2205, the famous, the well-known city-building, futuristic, aquatic, which I haven't played. Have any of you played the Anno games before?
People
No.
that play it like revere it, but I've never played myself.
Okay.
It's one of those games that I haven't played, but it looks like such a cool game. It's one of those games that I feel like
Yeah,
I
it
should
does.
I should have
Yes.
played.
Yeah.
Especially like the screenshots and stuff for the new one look pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, it does look beautiful. So yeah, that comes out on the 3rd. It's gonna be.
And then you scroll down and see incorporates third-party DRM. You play.
You
and
play,
take it off your
unfortunately,
wish
yeah.
list. Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, that's coming out on the 3rd for $59.99. And then finally on the 6th, we have
A very
Call of Duty
little
Black
release.
Ops 3.
Very small release.
Yeah, just a side note, indie game, not that popular. It's Black Ops 3 coming out on the 6th, which I personally am excited for. I don't know if any of
Get
you are.
that digital deluxe edition.
Oh, I could.
Yeah.
I've got the fridge pre-ordered.
Put your money where your hype is, dude. Yeah, exactly.
Well, if you
that first
pre-order,
thing,
you will get Nuketown. That's
Oh,
that's
man.
Nuke with a 3 instead of an E.
Nuke 3 Town.
Ah,
Okay.
very clever.
They actually did release a trailer for the new Nuketown map where they showed they put a bunch of walls in there to use the wall running. It looks interesting. Looks fun. There was a soldier that said he killed someone in the trailer and went, "Hate is gonna hate." I'm like, okay, well this is
I'm
Call of
sold.
Duty.
okay.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
money's there. So yeah,
I'm honestly telling you, I haven't bought a Call of Duty game in a couple iterations because it's just it's a $60 1 to max 2 weeks of enjoyment. And
Yeah.
then I touch it again. So, but hey,
And I don't
I'm
think
glad you're
I'll
excited
be-
for it. I don't have any.
I don't think I'll be purchasing it on release though.
You should do a review of the single player. Are you going to?
I do not know.
Okay,
I might. I won't confirm. I won't
throwing
deny.
it out there. Okay, cool.
Can I just
this wasn't
mention
an
real quick,
accusation.
because we're talking about Call of Duty, and I just thought
Yeah.
of this. Overwatch has a character that literally his special ability is turning into the RC car from Black Ops, and he has martyrdom. Every time he dies, he has martyrdom.
Really? What?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
actually the
Wow.
worst.
Wow, that does sound
Okay,
terrible.
well that's the competitive game we want.
Yeah. There you go. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
let's.
the releases.
Yeah. Thank you, KD. Some very interesting ones on there, especially the.
The week next week is a pretty
the
big
MMO.
week.
Yeah. That'll be. Uribe World sounds really good.
Uribe World. No price on that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I'll
All right.
take
Do
it.
you want
I
to
have
let's run a quick commercial, Brandon? Maybe a 60-second, and then we'll jump into viewer questions.
Alrighty, we will run a quick commercial break. If you don't want to see commercials, you should consider subscribing to this channel, like multiple people have done during this cast. Or if you're listening to the audio version, I guess I don't know. You're you're just gonna listen to this while
You aren't living.
You can pretend a commercial plays, or you can email us. You can sponsor us. We could run commercials in the audio version. Could make some money.
We could. That's a good point. Because now I'm about to give another little nugget to the audio listeners. It's going to incentivize them to not watch live. So maybe I shouldn't do this, but I forgot. I forgot to read what Nick Fenton texted me about. This is what he said. He said, "Tell the podcast," he said, "that the Halo 5 campaign is hot ass, but the multiplayer is good and has potential for me." And then he said, "LMAO."
Hot ass.
But yes, he's not a fan of the campaign. Thinks it's hot ass, but really likes the multiplayer. Thinks it has potential. Also,
So
LMAO.
wait, does he not like the campaign, or does he really like the campaign?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
call it hot
That could be
ass.
hot
taken
piece of ass.
It could be both.
two different ways.
Yeah,
Hot ass.
I'm thinking he's saying he doesn't like it, but I don't know. He might like it.
Man, it's a shame he's not here to actually tell us what he meant.
I know. Maybe next week. We'll see. All right. Are we back yet from?
We are back. We are
Okay.
back.
All right, so let's get into the viewer questions. We've got a couple interesting ones this week. The first one from Gretz Kig at Gretzkig, he asked, what video game character has the biggest and smallest penis?
No, is this one character?
Uh,
Do they have both?
yeah,
The grammar
that's true,
of
the
this
way it's
isn't-
phrased. Um,
Two separate.
And are we
characters
talking like
for-
the actual penis? Or are we talking about like, oh, he's got big balls? Like,
oh,
I think
that's
we're
another,
talking
that's
about
another
shape.
question.
because if we're
But you
talking about the
said-
actual penis, I have an answer
Okay.
for biggest.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, who would it be for biggest then if you're talking?
Ganondorf.
Okay.
Oh.
Specifically Super Smash Brothers Melee. When you do the move where he lifts his leg up, and I was a dirty kid, and I would pause, and there would be
Oh.
the biggest bulge I've ever seen in my life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a good answer. That's a good answer.
As far as smallest goes, I'm unsure.
See, my
I
answer
would
was
not expect you
small.
to have
Two
like
penises.
such a good anecdote for why like good evidence for this answer.
But I mean, the
It's
bulge
been
is
on
the best
bulge.
evidence. I mean, I guess technically he could be padding. You don't know
It
that.
could
but-
be. But it's just so obvious. And you can even like look it up. I'm pretty sure if you type in Ganondorf bulge, like it'll pop up.
Oh no.
I was gonna say like for biggest, I would someone in chat just said it, but I was gonna say Kirby because you wouldn't think it, and then like the characters that you would like think have the biggest penis, like I don't know Kratos or something like that. I think that they have the smallest. I think it's kind of like, you know, if like you shout too loudly, if you're too manly, sometimes you're compensating for something maybe.
yeah.
And so like Kirby, you'd be like, come on, Kirby, he isn't packing, but
Jigglypuff.
Kirby's packing.
I mean, yeah, how you
Pac-Man?
wouldn't know. I mean, Kirby.
No.
There's a lot of fluff there. Like you have
There
no
really
idea.
is.
You have no
You
idea
do.
if he pulls back the curtain on that one. Who knows?
Oh yeah, there's a lot underneath to be found.
Just saying,
Smallest,
we don't know.
I think
Absolutely.
maybe Pac-Man for smallest. I mean, he's just a bunch of pixels.
God damn it.
There's not a lot of room there
Yeah.
for anything.
I think does it
Kratos
really
is-
count for smallest if it's like non-existent? If they're just amorphous? Like
Yeah,
That's
I don't
true,
think
too.
if you're getting to
so.
Pac-Man, I feel like that's kind of cheating.
Yeah.
In that aspect, you can go one of the Pong paddles.
I feel like it should be some sort of humanoid
Yeah.
character.
Yeah, you
Agreed.
need
That's
evidence that like
Okay.
it exists.
Pac-Man is a man.
Actually,
He's a man. He's Pac-Man.
Yeah, that's true.
He's Pac-Dick.
God.
That's true. Actually, I can't argue with that one. He is Pac-Man. They are defining him in
There
the,
you go.
in the name.
Chat.
There you go.
Pac-Man eats poon hard. Well, I mean, I would assume so because that's basically the only motion that he makes is. Anyway.
oh my.
Sorry. All right, but yeah,
He does
I have
eat.
to agree
He
with
does
that.
eat.
He definitely does.
I like to read an answer in chat from the Mr. Flux.
Yeah.
Kratos' package is probably shrunk to hell. Dude is clearly juicing.
Yeah, that's true. Does seem like he might be. Right.
Onyx's
And then-
whole tail is a throbbing boner. Yeah. I'd go with Steelix then.
I actually I think like for smallest I'm confident of. I think like Mario before you eat a mushroom. He's only a handful
Right.
of pixels large.
Right.
Before you eat a mushroom.
The mushroom has supplements.
Helps everything grow. Yeah, definitely. That's
Again,
true because if you think about it,
Mario's kind of a weird answer though, because like you could get into like fetishes. He's got sometimes he puts on a cape, sometimes he puts on other clothes.
that's
I don't know.
yeah. I do. Mario definitely a sexual deviant though, or at least very. I think very comfortable with being that kind of character.
Well, in that
Shows up in a
regard, I
cape.
would say
maybe he'll look like a beaver. You never know. Maybe he'll. Yeah, he can look like so many different things. Then you get into the furry element, and anyway, yeah, that's a good.
I would say Waluigi has a huge cock.
Oh boy.
I feel like
All
I learned
right.
more from the phrasing of your answer than the answer itself.
Yeah.
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 I mean, no, just that's an observation.
Okay. All right. We're gonna move on though, but some good answers there. Darkwing02, how many happy trees do you like having in your paintings? And then Kappa Ross, which is maybe one of my favorite additions to the
One of the
emote
best
pool
emotes.
on Twitch.
Right behind
Bob Ross is
KBMOD.
amazing. Yes, and we didn't talk about this, but we skipped this
we
at the
should
beginning.
talk about it.
But we should talk about it now.
Yeah.
Those 9 seasons of
It's pretty
Bob
much my
Ross.
everything.
so good, so good.
It's one of those things when you watch and you wonder why something like Netflix hasn't picked that up, because it's so addicting to watch. It's very relaxing.
It's like crack.
And,
You can't stop. You just
You just can't.
because
stay
and
so-
you know what he's gonna paint. You know what's coming every episode. You know you're gonna see water, trees, happy trees, and
a little happy tree,
a
little bit of
sky,
Clouds
and clouds. Exactly, and still
and
every
titanium
time.
white.
and titanium white. Yes.
Van Dyke Brown, OP.
Oh man,
I think
I do
that-
love when
My-
he finishes his paintings like, you know me, Bob, gotta have a giant tree. For a painting, I'll go, here we
Yeah,
he
go.
we
does
know
like
you.
in the
Oh,
like watching like
almighty
being able to
tree.
watch all 9 seasons in a row like is obviously like that's not how obviously when the show aired people you had to wait, but it's like seeing so many of these in a row you just pick like he's so self deprecating and stuff like that, and he's all the little quirks, and my favorite part is like the
Yeah.
Twitch chat with that.
Yeah.
There's so
that
many
is,
good
that is
ones.
what actually makes it. Like I would
It
not,
does.
I would
Yeah.
not sit and just watch, Bob Ross on my own time, like on another monitor or something. But the fact that you're sitting there
shows.
looking at the chat, and like when he finishes an
50,000
episode,
people.
everyone's typing GG. Like
Yep.
it's just such a crazy thing that I feel like
Yeah.
if you either get it or like you just completely don't get it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's impossible to explain to you why it's so cool if you don't
Well-
if you don't understand.
And this only confirms, right? Like that's a great show. It's like a perfect I don't know, it's like a perfect storm. I mean, initially if you had told me like they were going to show all the Bob, like I don't know if this idea, if like I had been in the room when it was approved, I would have thought it made sense, but like now that you see how amazing it is, like actually watching a show like that with other people like in the Twitch community, like that, I was like more of this than creative. Like I think it's like a really, really smart thing. It's just a whole nother level of being able to interact. And like my favorite, like, Bob never reads the chat, sad face. When
It has
when
been
Bob,
there have been some of like the best chat memes created
just
from this.
incredible in there. Every time, like he's like, when he'll be like, "Oh, you really think I've went and messed up now, right?" When he's just like starting the painting, and then the chat's like, "He's talking about us. He's acknowledging
Well,
us."
the best thing
Clutch.
I've seen so
Oh.
far is one of the episodes yesterday. He mentioned like creating a Halloween scene or like adding something, and the chat just blew up with like Illuminati symbols.
Yep.
And like he lives. I mean, it was just stuff like that I think is so cool.
Yeah.
One of my
it was
favorites was when
so good.
he was talking about the opening animation. Like, I really love the opening animation, and the people here, they do really good work. They do a great job with that. And the chat exploded with, "Oh my God, Bob likes anime. He likes anime."
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
It really is beautiful in a way that like a new generation of people are just
That
being
they get to
introduced
discover.
to
Yeah,
this.
that's what's the cool.
Yeah.
That's what the really cool thing
Yeah,
is.
it's neat.
Yeah.
I
It's
mean,
very
I,
cool.
I grew up in the time that like children would have been watching this show, but I never really watched it. So I'm actually kind of enjoying it as like a piece of my childhood that was there like in the periphery, but that I wasn't actually watching
Yeah.
or like I didn't really know. But watching it now, it's like it's weird to say, but I'm like kind of nostalgic for something that I didn't actually experience. But I know, like I recognize shows that looked like that from the time that I was a kid, and now going back and watching the show, like it's just really neat. I think it's like one of the coolest kind of social experiences you can have. And like after
Absolutely.
Yeah.
after it's over, like you won't be able to have that experience again in the same way.
Exactly.
Like it might do some other show, or like there will always be cool new things happening, but like this experience feels really unique, and so you feel like you're participating in it, and once it's gone, like you won't really ever get to do that again in the same way.
Yeah.
I'm really
Yes.
hoping. I've seen people bring up this idea to do it like a year-long thing, just repeating it, and I really, really hope they don't do that, because once they do that, it's not special anymore. I hope at least it's like a yearly, like seasonal event, like Bob Ross's birthday. Are you guys excited for the marathon?
Yeah, I could see it
Yeah.
doing it once a year, like.
Yeah, but then it would become the next like Twitch plays Pokemon, where they just bring it like the entire year, and the viewership dwindles down. But
think-
yeah, it's
I think it was the perfect kickoff to like the official creative category on Twitch.
Yeah.
I mean, like creative's like sort of been there, but this is like the official, introduced by Bob Ross, painting. You know, like who else but Bob Ross?
Yeah, and I think it was kind of. I don't think people assumed that it was going to be like a huge hit, because it's like it was a cool idea, but I think it. I don't know that anyone expected it to take off the way that it did, and reach like a lot of people that don't use Twitch, like not familiar with Twitch, and don't necessarily like or watch video games, but they are now interested, or like they have visited our site for the first time because of this crazy thing. And I think that's pretty neat. Like in the big scheme of things, that helps kind of spread our culture to people that otherwise wouldn't experience it. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I agree. Like people in the chat saying, chat is 50 to 60. They even say, I mean, like Bob Ross is great, but the chat is what really kind of sets the experience apart. So I think we'll definitely be seeing more of it.
I live with my parents and a grandparent. I set the stream up for them, and they were watching it for a good 3 hours. They had it out in the
Oh yeah.
like living room.
Yeah.
It's great.
I've heard more anecdotes like that this week. Of like, I told my coworkers about it, and like, they downloaded the Twitch app to watch it, or crazy stuff that like people that have no idea what Twitch is, but this has piqued their interest. I think that's really cool.
And then they find out it's this whole video game thing. Like,
Yeah, and then you can
and then their
explain to
interest
your
is
parents.
gone.
You can explain the memes to your parents, and
what does Kappa mean?
you'll probably have your parents be like mortally offended when the chat spams ruined in his paintings.
Yeah.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
they don't
right.
Did you see
necessarily-
that,
They don't necessarily get it.
Yeah.
Did you see that article from The Verge where that guy's talking about how I can't believe the internet doesn't appreciate this art? Like 60,000 people ruining this man's work. I'm like, who could have?
I
And he
have opinions on that article.
just yeah.
Yep. Anyway, all right. So, and we didn't really answer the question. For my answer is how many happy trees? As many happy. It depends on the painting, and
Yep.
whatever number that Bob decides on after with his imagination is the right number. So,
Just gotta have one almighty tree.
it flex. Yeah, at least you have to. The limit is at least one. You have to have
You
one.
gotta
happy
give them
tree.
friends. I feel like,
That's true, though. Yeah, that
It
is.
can't be.
like Bob says,
Some
give
friends.
them a couple friends.
Friends. Yes. Put some.
So
clothes
a
on
good
this one.
few happy trees. So that's good few.
All right. All right. We have an email question from Rolski. I would think is how we would say that. And it is. I am a college student who games on a Mac because.
No.
Oh.
Read it.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Properly. Oh, you're right. Okay. This is. Okay. I am a college student who games on a Mac because film major, and then an arrow Final Cut. My question for the cast is: are Mac users considered part of the brotherhood of KB modders, or are they just as bad as the console scum that claim to be gamers? Wow. Okay,
I don't know about
so
just as bad. I mean,
I don't know if I would phrase people that game on consoles as scum and not actual gamers. Personally, that's not my view.
that's a strong opinion.
I'd say that they are gamers. They are on a platform that isn't as great as the
They're
glorious.
objectively gaming.
They are gaming.
Yeah.
Are they gaming at the level that they possibly could? Maybe not. But, but yes. So I mean, in general, if you know, like, I think the answer is pretty obvious, right? Like, you're not going to buy a Mac to game on. If you
but
do,
I think
At
if
least
you
I hope
happen
not.
if you happen to have a Mac, because like if you're a film major, sure that makes sense, and maybe you can't afford another PC. Like I mean, if you play games on your Mac, you're a gamer. It's just
Right, so-
like it's
yeah.
not. I think there are a lot of people that probably have Macs and maybe can't necessarily afford a second PC just for games. There's no shame in owning a Mac.
Oh, okay. See, I was more
because
taking
that's,
the
like, what
question.
you need.
Right. That's the way you're answering it makes sense. I, for some reason, was getting like something else that, like, I guess he wasn't asking.
I think
he
he's
just
he's asking for our blessing to
That
allow
he
him
games.
into the brotherhood of KB
Sure.
modders, and I'm
Sure.
saying you are welcome with open arms.
yeah.
You know now I wouldn't necessarily advocate gaming on, your touchpad. So you should probably get a proper keyboard and mouse if you want to be official. But in general, Mac's not an ideal gaming machine, but it can work.
Yeah, I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that. I would say more if you were a person who were like, man, I love Apple, dude, and I bought a $3,000, $4,000 Mac, and because I don't like Windows and I don't want to game on a PC, then I think the answer maybe would be a little different.
Yeah, I think it depends on your state of mind.
Sure.
If you're like proud of, if you like buy a Mac with a great video card because you want a game, that's dumb.
That's what I mean. That's where it's like a little questionable. I'd be like, yeah, why would you do that? But yeah, as the question is asked, like Brandon said, absolutely. Welcome to the Master Race. PC Master Race, sorry. That could be misinterpreted. Oh boy, that was a little bit of a... No one clip that either. I'm already screwed. I know I am. Oh boy. Okay.
Scott might be motivated to make his first actual edit for the audio version.
That actually is going to have to be edited. Now that there's like Oddshot and stuff like that, people just snip it right away, though. It doesn't even matter. I don't even have a chance. The disadvantage of doing this live is that it's hard to self-edit in real time. All right. From Icantu via email. As a child, I always found myself fascinated with both the Sega Genesis and SNES. Even after the release of the PS2, I still found myself searching local flea markets, trigger phrase for Brandon, for old cartridges that I didn't own because something about the simplicity of old 2D platformers was so satisfying to me. With this in mind, my question is, at what point did you stop only looking forward and start to explore all the great titles that older generations of hardware had to offer? Okay, that's a mouthful of a question.
Like going back to old like retro games, or
yeah. So basically, yeah. So like, what was the? Yeah, I guess maybe I don't know. Maybe he's asking, yeah, what console generation that started,
maybe
or
he's asking like what, either at which point did you start feeling like you had games on older systems that you could go back and play?
Yeah.
Because like if you're KDZen, you're a young man. You weren't growing up in the time where like you would have been playing Genesis and Super Nintendo.
Oh no, I did.
Was...
I did grow up with the Genesis, yeah.
Oh well, I'm just saying like for your age group, a lot of people wouldn't
I see.
have.
Yeah.
So for them, it's like at what point were you like, oh, I can go back to these games?
For KDZen's age group, most people grew up playing Modern Warfare 3.
Yeah, sure.
No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, but I did the same. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. I was just saying, at the job I have now, we sell like old Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Genesis games, so that really gives you an opportunity. Like just today, someone brought in like a bin full of like old boxes, like the box cases for like Genesis games, and it was really cool to go through those and find out. Like I haven't played the like original Aladdin before. So
that's a classic.
Yeah, it is a classic, and finding out about it now, appreciating the old stuff.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there was like a point that I know what the question is asking, because the way I started out, like the PlayStation, it was the Dreamcast and the PlayStation and the N64 before I really got started. But of course I went to Funko Land, if you guys remember that, and I was given a Sega Genesis while the Dreamcast and PlayStation were out. I was a little bit behind. So, like I started with that, and then eventually worked my way up, and I think eventually got a PlayStation, and then like a PS2. But I guess that is true for the time. It was always like forward looking. I wasn't like, hey man, now that I have a PlayStation 2, I really want to go back and find old Sega cartridges. Maybe I've never really had that experience. Now that I think about it.
I don't know. I feel like it's with every console release. I sort of felt that. Because my first console was the Genesis and the Sega Saturn, and then the N64 came out, and then I would play that, and it was like the greatest thing ever. And I was like, well, I want to go back and play, like Sonic the Hedgehog 2, blah 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 blah. And then GameCube came out, and then I was like, all of a sudden, oh, I want to go back and play N64, So I feel like it's just like a climb, and then wanting to go back.
Yeah.
But it just gets broader and broader every time.
I think I'm not sure. Honestly, my answer might be like sort of towards college, or like really when Steam uh, became the norm and like older titles were getting put on Steam. Because I actually like through middle school and high school, I don't really remember a time that I was playing any games that I would have considered retro. I mean, I feel like I was always looking forward because, like, you know, if when the N64 came out, you know, you wanted to go to your friend's house that had an N64.
Yep.
And like, I feel like at that point you were always, at least I was always kind of excited for the new stuff. And I don't know, I was also playing PC games, and once I found a game I liked, I would stick with it. So I was never really going back to anything. I was just sticking with either the stuff I liked or playing new stuff. And I feel like the time that I really stopped doing that and looking at some of the older games was when they were more freely available on Steam, and like the barrier for getting those games was so low that I have the opportunity to go back to them. Which, and like, I don't know, these are kind of like weak examples, but I've played older games like, you know, the earlier Assassin's Creed games and stuff, even though those are not retro, like by really any definition of the word, but I'm like going back and playing some older, more classic games, just because like it's in my library. Why not?
Yeah, I now that you actually said that, that would be the same for me too. Once I actually had Steam and Steam became the standard, that's when when the access became a lot easier to actually do that. So yeah, that would be my answer as well. I mean, and now, like, just for a lot of times also finding, like, for me it was like genre searching, at least on PC. So like if I'm looking for a game that I want to have a certain kind of experience and I know it's similar to something else, that a lot of times will force me to go and play older games, because, you know, there's only so many new releases that come out in a certain genre, like horror or whatever else. So I find myself, like, based on a certain kind of genre I want to play, going back and playing a lot of old stuff, which is fun, which I like doing.
I think you with streaming can be really interesting for going back and playing older stuff that you wouldn't necessarily do on your own, but it can be fun to kind of explore an old game for the first time in like a community atmosphere.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's a big part of the reason too. Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's a good well-formed email question. Aside from, or no, I'm sorry. There were no real like errors in that question.
No, I think overall it was pretty good.
It's a good email question. If you're gonna email us, it's good to have, you know, some nice background and maybe a short story, and then you get to your question. We like an occasional longer question, but make sure it's worth our while.
Absolutely. All right. Well, this will get us into the fabled iTunes podcast review of the week. Brandon, I'll let you give the quick background, and then I don't know, KDZen, I think you could definitely handle this week's.
This one has him written all over it.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
So we do publish this podcast on iTunes and potentially other audio platforms that I'm not even aware of, but we have an iTunes listing, and hopefully you all have iTunes in some fashion. We would love if you would rate the podcast, and all you have to do is go rate us 5 stars, and you can leave whatever you want in the comments section. We've had a lot of, honestly, we've been lacking like good, you know, kind of stories or backgrounds lately. We've had some memes for sure, but we like a good story, or we like some nice feedback. This week's feedback, definitely, you know, very short, to the point. You can take it a lot of different ways. But we only had one review to pick from this week, so this guy won by default. Luckily, it's sort of a comment on kind of the human experience in a way. So if you want to be featured on next week or any week after, please go ahead and review the podcast. You may get a shout out here at the end by KDZen or someone equally as lovely.
There you go.
Okay. So this review comes to us from someone named a Golden Moa. The title of this review is Thank. And he says, Thank. That is the end of the review.
One of my favorites, honestly. concise,
It's direct.
Profound.
Yeah, concise.
profound, yeah, deep, direct.
Exactly.
See,
It resonates with
the
me.
reason I like this review is because you could take it as a command,
Yeah,
think,
that's true.
or you can
Thanksgiving's
you
coming
can
up.
be kind of expressing that like the noun thank, that like maybe he I don't even know if thankful, like it's not thankful. There's like it's like a partial thought.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Hank.
That one really makes you think.
it does. I really enjoyed it. Good work, a Golden Moa.
Good job.
Yeah, and then next week, yeah, get your review in. You have again,
You have a pretty good chance to be
pretty
featured
good
right
shot.
now.
If you just do
Yeah.
one, you might.
Not a lot of competition.
I would
these
hate to
days.
have to axe this section because we have no entrance.
Yeah,
That would be
exactly.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
So, keep it alive. But all right, well, I think that's going to do it for episode 212 of the KBMOD podcast. Thank you for being with us. And again, just another quick reminder, on the 7th, okay, November 7th, we will be doing a couch stream at Sean's house, Sean but not heard, and we'll be taking a look at the Alienware Steam machine and the Steam controller during that couch stream. And also there's going to be a Valve Complete Pack giveaway. So be there, chill with
by
us.
chance, if anyone
Yes.
listening is going to be at BlizzCon, I will be there. So wear KBMOD stuff and come say hi.
Yep. All right, guys. Appreciate it. And we'll see you next week.
See ya.
Yeah.